Hello everybody and welcome to Manchester Explorer. Nothing crazy today as I decided to video my first ride of the season through Manchester, as I'm going to start on the west side Railtrail and I'm going to finish this ride at where the airport is. The Railtrail follows South Willow Street up behind Walmart and Auto Fair and all that, and it ends at where the airport is. So right now we're going to head down Bremer Street and take a left on the Railtrail. And along the way I'll post some old pictures if I can think of any off the top of my head of certain areas anyway. The worst part after this, I don't know, it's about a 10-mile bike ride, as I have to bike back up this hill. But that's how you build leg strength, is from climbing up hills. It's not from riding along a path like this, that's for sure. Finally got some good weather. It's early spring, or is it still late winter, or is it spring yet? I forget. But to my right, through this little patch of forest here, is the West Side Ice Arena. I've been in there many times, and I'm sure many of you watching this have as well, as I had friends who used to play hockey, and I used to watch them play. I'm so glad all this snow is gone and the cold weather is diminishing. I'm debating on moving to like North Carolina or something, because I'm obviously fairly active and I love the outdoors, and I'm tired of having 4 to 5 months of downtime every year of just sitting on a couch and staring at a TV, you know what I mean? Just a waste of time, in my opinion. And I believe I have a photo, I'm not sure which houses they are, but obviously there was a flood here during, it was either the 1936 or the 38 flood. But I do have a few pictures of some houses on the right that were, I'm not sure if they were flooded or the water was really close to the houses. It may have been the buildings down here, or it may have been a little further up, but I'll post a photo and try to line up the house that's in the picture. To my left are some beautiful old buildings. I recorded these a couple months ago, so if you're interested in seeing them in better detail, they're somewhere on my channel. Probably be about 4 or 5 videos back. But they're beautiful. They were built around 1900, still in the Victorian era. Finely crafted buildings, which are completely out of place compared to all the other buildings around here. Yeah, that flood picture may have been this building. Possibly. And on the other side of this river, there's also another trail it's a dirt trail that follows the river as well. I'll document that area at some point also. It's actually very pretty there. And as you can see, there's still some really nice areas in Manchester. It's a good spot to go fishing as well. As I'm going to be starting another channel that's going to be more about adventure stuff on my mountain bike. And one of the things I like to do is I like to go fishing. I'll pack my bike up with fishing gear, and I'll go to various places where boats aren't allowed. And with the bike, I have access to go on the complete other side of a pond or a lake, where most fishermen aren't going to walk, you know, a mile to get to a fishing spot. So with the bike, you have some advantage, other than losing balance. But this is a nice area to just come down and just, you know, relax, chill out. People often mention there's nothing to do in Manchester. I'm like, are you serious? There's so much to do in this city. You can be on downtown Elm Street and take a 5-minute drive and come fishing here. You know what I mean? There's plenty to do. Not everything revolves around going to restaurants, stores, or playing video games. Get off the couch, man. That's my motto. This area here gets a little greasy sometimes during the summer. There's often homeless people hanging out here. Not all of them, but some of them like to loiter on the trail. They'll pile all their junk in the middle of the trail and whatnot. It's kind of annoying. And they do it on purpose just to annoy people. And I got nothing against homeless people. It's just the ones that trash areas. There's no need for it. And I think most people think the same way. Homeless people don't bother me. It's just the trash. That's what people are sick of. Here as well, you gotta be careful. They'll often pile junk in this underpass here, or overpass. And sometimes you can't see it, and they want you to hit it when you're riding your bike. It's really nice. Behind you guys. That's okay. I need to get a bell. I keep forgetting. I think I'm gonna get a train horn. Hey buddy, how you doing? That's the most well-behaved dog. I see him all the time. He's never leashed, and he listens. I've never seen him this far down though. He's usually on the Goffstown side. It's kind of funny that I actually recognize people walking on the trail, as that's how often I come out here. But while we're here, I'll share one picture of South Main Street. That's what it looked like during the late 1800s or early 1900s. And I will be making a video of that area in pretty good detail. I did document it about a year or two ago, but it was one of my early videos, and I feel like I've improved in skill. My videos are very raw. I don't go crazy with editing. You know, my videos are live and direct. I don't video and then overdub it with audio. I talk as I'm filming. Most people don't do that. Most people will film and then they'll use a microphone and talk over the film. And that's why you'll often hear me screwing up my words and whatnot, as it happens. And some of those videos you watch, like that Webster Street one, some of those shots, I mean, it took me like 5 times because I'd screw up talking. So some of those videos do take some time to produce. So please like and subscribe, or hit the thanks button. I really appreciate it. This bridge here, I posted a video about it. That's rather interesting. So check it out. I believe it's called something, remnants of a 1936 bridge flood. I forget what I called it, but it's on my channel. What happened to the fence? Someone broke it. Same with here, there's a large chunk of the fence missing. We can't have anything nice in this city. But I'm going to take a left here. You can take a right or a left. If you take a right, it brings you more towards the inner city, right to the mill yard. But I'm heading towards the airport, so it's better to go this way for me. And I'm taking my time today. I'm not trying to break any speed records. Oh, we got an obstacle. Why didn't they push the snow into the river? I don't get that. That's horrible. Bad decision, Mr. Plow Guy. Probably not allowed to. Bad comment, Mr. Comment Guy. My opinion isn't always right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to just push snow into the river due to contaminants. And if you're wondering what kind of bike I'm riding, it's an Esker Hayduke. It's a 2024. I bought the frame and I built it up. Here's a picture of it. But in this particular color, unfortunately, it fell under a warranty claim, as it has soft paint, which chips very easily. You know, as your tires pick up pebbles, and they'll fling them around on the frame and whatnot, and it was leaving chips everywhere. So Esker ended up warrantying the frame. And this is the McElwain Shoe Factory. I've already kind of documented this. I might do another video about it in better detail. But this is one of the last factories, old factories in Manchester, that's still active. They're no longer making shoes, but it is active. And I'll post a few pictures of this factory as well, from back in the day. Yeah, with this frame, they gave me the option of replacing this frame with a 2025 model, or they were going to give me a $500 credit to use towards any of their other products. And I decided to replace this frame with a 2025 model. The only problem was they're going to ship me the new frame and then I gotta disassemble this bike and ship this frame back to them. So it's an even swap. But the 2025 model, they updated a few things about the frame. There was a few minor issues, nothing major, but they did address them and they changed them. And here's the new frame that I'm getting, as I love the color. So in a way it worked out, because this orange and green color, I loved it at first, but it kind of wore off on me. But anyways, enough about my bicycle. But to my left, as you're listening to me ramble about my bicycle, there's obviously a large apartment complex that is being built here. It's almost complete. And we'll check it out. And this is the future of America. No longer are you going to see these cute little, you know, multi-family buildings being built, which you see everywhere in Manchester around these city blocks. As now these giant buildings are being built. To me, they're just a hotel room. That's the way I look at them. I got nothing against people living in them, but you're living in a hotel. This is a very large building. They started this about a year ago, so it went up pretty quick. But Manchester does need housing, so I do get it. But the population is going to be growing very quickly in the city. As how many of these have been built in the past, 5 years? There's been like 8 of them at least. This is one of the larger ones. And these are likely not going to be considered luxury apartments. They're going to be what they consider affordable. My guess is these apartments are going to be around $2,000 to $2,500 a month. That's my guess. And in front of me to my left is the McElwain Shoe Factory, or what was the McElwain Shoe Factory. And to my right is Velcro. I actually worked there. One of my first jobs, I was like 19 years old, I got a job here. I worked in the coating department, and then I got promoted up to the HTH building, which is where they made the plastic straps, like the diaper straps and whatnot, which was very high-tech during that time period. And it was quite the machine that made those products. But that job was not for me. It was a 12-hour shift. It sucked. Let's put it that way. The job was easy, but the schedule sucked. But somewhere here, I'm not exactly sure. It may have been on top of the hill somewhere over there, as I don't recall it, as I wasn't alive. But there used to be a stone building there. And here's the picture. And here's the McElwain Shoe Factory again. As you can see, it was a massive building. Still is a massive building. It's now been converted into apartments and various businesses. But at one time, that employed a lot of people. That's a lot of jobs that are no longer here. If you wouldn't have had a trade agreement with China, this could be a Nike factory right now. Who knows? But directly in front of me, this is also going to be drastically changing in the next year or two, as there's another apartment complex that's about to be built. Yeah, the Manchester Railroad, what do you call it, the rail path, it's kind of messed up because it gets broken up a lot, so you have to go to these weird areas where everything connects. That's why it's not too popular with bikers. But up here was once the Queen City Motor Lodge or the Queen City Motel. I forget the exact name. It's now the Farnham Center. I'm not sure if this is getting destroyed or not due to that apartment complex across the street that's going to be built. But I think this is not getting destroyed. I'm not positive. But I do have an older picture of it when it was the Queen City Motor Lodge, I think it was called. And here it is. And I do recall it when it was that. I'm old enough. But I know there's one building in particular here that's going to be destroyed, as the city has to create some plumbing access for that new construction project that's going to be built directly across the street from me. Another apartment complex, people. That tenant building directly in front of me, that's been abandoned for years. It was run down looking until this little Elliott branch was built, Elliott Hospital, and they spruced up the exterior so it doesn't look run down. But the house on the left is lived in, but all this is going bye-bye up to the 7-Eleven store. So this Swanson's Dye Company building is going to be gone, and I'll get some footage of it before it disappears. As it is a fairly old building, as you can tell by the windows. I'm not sure of when it was built. Definitely pre-1950s is my guess. As I haven't looked into it, I just decided to film it this morning without any research. But yeah, it's going bye-bye. So I did document it. And everyone waved bye to it because that's what's happening to it. But this building directly in front of me is the one that fell under, what do they call it? When the city takes over something. I'm having a brain fart here. But there was a coffee shop there. There's a big fuss about it, that the city wasn't giving them enough money for it. But ultimately the city won and it's getting torn down. So that building's going to be going bye-bye. And while I'm here, I'm going to go up Brown Ave here, as I managed to find an old photo of this road dating to probably the early 1900s. And even this road was once beautiful, believe it or not. The whole city was. It's kind of sad, really. I try not to be too pessimistic in my videos, but sometimes I kind of go off track. As you can see, I spend a lot of time looking at old Manchester, and it kind of aggravates me when I see what the city has evolved into and what society has evolved into compared to 60 plus years ago, as everything started to go downhill during probably about the mid-60s. That's what I've noticed in my studies anyway. And I'm not getting into politics, but it has a lot to do with that. And we'll spin around right here. And here's that photo of Brown Ave that I was mentioning just a little while ago. And as you can see, it looked quite different back then. I may have a nice picture of this store right here on the left, this big white building. I'll try to dig it out of my computer. I have like 1,000 photos saved, so it's hard to find them sometimes. But I believe I have a photo of that building before it became ugly. And here's the Bakersfield School on my right. I'll post an old photo of it in its original condition as well, because I don't think much remains of it from back in the day. And that blue house right there, I did make a video of it, as the interior was a virtual time capsule that was destroyed pretty much. So check it out. That's a cool video. But let's get back to the Railtrail system. Those are the Elm Street projects, which is what they refer to for low-income housing. And I also have a photo taken about right here that depicts this line of houses during the early 1900s. This area was spruced up last summer. They repaired all the sidewalks and paved the road, so that's a good thing. The city tries, but you know, the city needs so much work now that it's almost impossible to keep up with it all. It's just poorly managed. You know, all it takes is for people to have their heads straight. You know, and every year you do a block or two, just revitalize it and just go in a rotation. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated. So now the city is just overrun with just dilapidated areas. It's sad. It really is. Poorly managed. The city's run by people that are book smart. They're not common sense smart. That's the best way to explain it. In this area, you know, if you would have came here 2 or 3 years ago, it was completely trashed. It was overgrown. You could barely walk down here. There was homeless encampments. So this has been cleaned up, which is an awesome thing. When I first started my channel, I was filming all the homeless camps, and I ended up deleting all those. Although if I would have stuck with that algorithm, I'd probably have like 15 to 20,000 subscribers right now. As people like seeing bad things more than good things, which is sad. I got a really strong headwind today. The St. Augustine Cemetery. I used to live in this area, and I used to, you know, I'd walk my dogs through there quite often. And yes, I picked up their poop. No one ever stops here. Oh wow, someone stopped, amazing. People doing 50 and a 30 as usual. That's Manchester for you. You're really going to be careful biking around this city. As far as the inner city, it's really not that bicycle friendly. And we're back on the rail trail system, and this heads to Nutt's Pond. would have been nice if they kept this all gravel instead of pavement, as it's much prettier to see dirt than pavement. Although it's harder to maintain during the winter, as this gets used quite often. My little detour I like to take. Oh, the ground is still very soft. That's why I haven't been mountain biking yet. And to my left is Nutt's Pond. Which is still covered in a sheet of ice. There's a little bit of history here. As you can see, a foundation. As they used to harvest ice out of this pond before refrigeration. And here's a few pictures of the ice house and people harvesting. I've already done a video about the history of Nutt's Pond, so I'm not going to get into any vast detail about it today. So check it out. Although I may revisit it again and make another video that's updated, but we'll see. That far shore used to be littered with homeless camps as well, up on that bank. And they all got kicked out. There used to be about 10 to 15 tents up there. As during the summer that turns into a jungle and you cannot see the tents. So they might come back during the summer so they can hide. But who knows? Sorry about the wind noise. There's about a 5 to 10 mile an hour breeze that's directly blowing into my face. At least the way home will be a lot easier. The wind will carry me like a sail. And this area here was completed last summer, late summer, as this area used to be completely trashed as well. And you can see these overhead doors on my right in that building. That used to be where they'd unload and load cargo to the train that used to go up and down this path. So that door is no longer used. And the same with this building. You'll see a lot of A lot of overhead cargo doors. As you can see, the remnants of the train line that used to veer to the right. The train rails. So there's a little bit of history for you. And I did post a video of this little bridge area in front of me. As if you can recall, I think a couple summers ago, we had all that torrential rain. And this was completely washed out. And it exposed the original culvert dated to the late 1800s that's underneath us. They obviously rebuilt it. There's that whole valley. I mean, it literally turned into a river. The water must have rose at least 10 feet high, if not higher. I wish I would have came down here and filmed it, but I missed it. These are remnants of the trestle that's directly in front of me, as they had to dismantle some of it as they built this modern footbridge over it. But a lot of the original trestle still remains. Here's a few pictures of it from back in the day. And we'll take a ride up here and go down this path where we can get a better view of the trestle. And directly in front of me is where this little trail ends, which is pretty much at the airport. There's really nothing to see there. Well, there is a plaque. I guess I'll show you guys that. If it hasn't been graffitied yet. My GoPro's on my helmet. I'll try to get a shot of it so you guys can see it. The Manchester and Lawrence Railroad. That's what this line was called. Or named. And let's take a left down here at this path. I'll show you guys the trestle, and we'll conclude this video. Again, please like and subscribe, as I really appreciate it. And I do have some pretty good videos coming up. I have some good ideas. One of them in particular is going to get some attention. I just gotta wait for the water level on the Merrimack River to drop, as the area that I'm going to is going to be interesting. I know there's no trespassing signs, but I think the city will get over it. And here's the trestle. Probably a decent fishing spot also. This river is kind of pretty. Once everything turns green, everything looks kind of blah looking right now because it's late winter, early spring. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this quick little adventure ride to the airport of Manchester from the west side of Manchester. Later all.